Okay, let me know, give me a thumbs up. You could cue me.
Okay. You're on you're live now.
Okay, good.
This is Jimmy Tippy.
Hi, Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, this is Sunit Sharma.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you.
We good to go? Good morning, everyone. My name is Virginia Harger. I'm the chairperson of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, and the special meeting of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission is hereby called to order. This meeting is categorized as a special meeting. It is held at a time other than when our regular meeting was to take place. Would everyone present in the auditorium please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I invite all who are participating remotely to do the same. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Just a couple of points before continuing with this morning's agenda. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission's 6th meeting being done via a live streaming process. Commissioners participating in person and remotely will be able to make comments throughout the meeting so that we are not all talking across each other and our recording secretary is clear as to who is speaking. Commissioners are asked to please say Madam Chair and then your name. As soon as the chair recognizes you, you are free to speak. Please be aware that you may hear an echo. Commissioners participating remotely are asked to be aware and remember that microphones on computers will pick up ambient sounds which will be heard in the auditorium throughout the PA system, including movement of papers, phones ringing, and conversations if others are in the room. So if at all possible and you have the ability to do so, please mute the audio on the computer. And I'd like to just remind everyone in the auditorium that will be speaking from the podium, please keep close to the microphone because while that system is hooked into the PA system, we are finding that listening the playback later on, if you turn away to look at something away from the podium, your voice is disappearing. So we'll continue with our agenda, beginning with our roll call. When your name is called, please verbally indicate you are present, and I'll begin with those who are participating remotely. Commissioner Parkins. Present. Commissioner Tickey.
Present.
And alternate Commissioner Usel.
Present.
We will be sitting in today Commissioner Usel for Commissioner Radomski, who indicated that he would not be available to participate. And Mr. Panico, our commission consultant.
Here.
And I'll roll call with those in the auditorium. Commissioner Kelly.
Present.
Commissioner Amato. Okay. Myself, Commissioner Harger. Mr. Rossetti, our P&Z administrator.
Here.
Is Mr. O'Neill participating today?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, he's not in the auditorium though.
Maybe went to the restroom quickly.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Nappy, our downtown project coordinator.
Here.
And our recording secretary, Sarah Bernatos. Here. Very good. And just a note, alternate Commissioner Laskos is not available as well to participate in today's meeting. So we'll go on to our applications for certificates of zoning compliance. And the first one is application 4278, Sunit Sharma, 22 Huntington Street for a sign. Is the applicant present?
Present.
Okay, you're calling in, Mr. Sharma. And Mr. Rossetti, do you have any comments on this?
I'll let the applicant speak first. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Mr. Sharma, you'll be making your own presentation. We're just pulling up the material. So this is, this is 2010 Huntington Street, and it is a sign to reface the existing, and this is for the Gulf Station, that's right across from
You
Huntington
have to start in
Bridge.
the signs.
And I just want to acknowledge that Mr. O'Neill has joined us in the auditorium for the meeting. All right, Mr. Sharma, why don't you go ahead and speak up? You're coming through the microphone on the phone system that we have.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time today. So recently, Gulf Oil has come up with a new national image. As part of that image, they are requesting and requiring all stations to conform to their new image. In front of you, you'll see their new image and what we're looking to do there. We're looking to reface the canopy, the dispensers, and the ID sign, retrofitting the ID sign with low-emitting LED price sign in the colors and as described in the package.
Okay, thank you. So this is part of, I would categorize it as their corporate identity.
Correct.
Okay. Do any commissioners have any particular questions? Any of the commissioners in the auditorium have any questions about this particular application? Go ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
Yeah,
Use the microphone.
Basically, the footprint is the same, correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part?
Is the footprint the same?
Correct.
The footprint of the
Keeping the
canopy is the same.
Yeah, so the canopy will have the Gulf image elements added to it, where it's currently just white. We're going to take down that architectural dentures that are up there now and make it flush mount, so it's a flat surface, keeping the same footprint on the ID sign, square footage, everything will remain the same.
Is the upper portion of the canopy, is that a lit sign or no?
Those are illuminated signs, so what you're looking at, everything will be dark at night with the exception of the Gulf logo and the Gulf lettering. Those will be the only things that illuminate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any commissioners participating remotely that have any questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, seeing that there are no other questions from any of the commissioners present, staff have any questions or comments? Nope. Okay, so is there a motion for application 4278 for approval?
I'll make a motion for approval.
There's a motion from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Ticky. I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ticky. And I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Yusa,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Maya, Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion has passed 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. You can disconnect yourself if you like.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time this morning. Take care.
You're welcome. Next is application 4320, 99 Bridgeport Avenue, T-line for a sign. Is the applicant here? Is this the calling?
Yeah.
Is there anyone on the phone from T-Lines for the sign at 99 Bridgeport Avenue? Mr. O'Neill, are you attempting to reach him?
Yeah, I sent him an email about half an hour ago.
Okay, I'm going to put that one aside, and we'll go on to the third one, which is 320 Howe Avenue, Cedar Village at Carroll. Midland Development LLC is the applicant here. Okay, make sure you identify your name and address for the record, please.
John Stanziel. Turn that mic on.
Is the mic on?
John Stanziel, 42 Lazy Brook Road, Shelton. We're in Midland Development and Cedar Village at Carroll's is the builder. I just want to see, coming in with this, ground sign, which is gonna be, I know there was a couple of questions exactly where is it gonna be on the property. It shows it on the, the site plan. But to clarify, it'll be in line with the front two wings of the building. So it won't go, like the face of the brick will be in line with the face of the building, centered.
Yeah, I think that was shown on the enlargement.
Yeah, I mean, and on that, it steps back a little bit on the site, but I think we need to keep it so people, less accidents. I really wanted that address on it so people can see clearly where they're going.
So a building-mounted, kind of sign would not work in your instance because of the other accidents on the first floor?
Yeah, I mean, and what we're gonna do is have those signs will be coming in as obviously as they come, which should be one shortly, but they're all gonna match, and I'll bring those in with them as we go.
Yes,
It'll be a standard.
I was gonna say, since you brought that up, it would be good to have a package that we
Yeah.
could expect,
Yeah,
that everything would be consistent.
yes.
So,
With lights over it.
So this is 111 inches,
Total.
which is 9¼ feet, 18-inch columns. The sign itself is 72 inches, 6 feet.
Right, but real quick, on the columns, I laid them out at 18 inches yesterday, they possibly, if it's all right, if we can go at least, the common one is usually 24 inches, is a brick column, so I would rather do 24. If you really are stuck to do 18, it's great, it just looks a little small.
When you talk about the common as being 24, how do you...
24 by 24 pier is usually what makes that brick structure look, stands out a lot nicer than 18 inches.
Is it structurally as well more secure?
No, it looks nice.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, because sometimes if the proportion is off,
Right,
it's not going to...
so I wanna bring that up now, so,
So you'd like a change for those
If we can do-
18-inch columns to be 24?
right.
Does there still leave ample room in that area without obstructing passage by the building?
Yes, so actually it's, when I laid it out yesterday, which is laid out on the ground now, I thought it looked a little bit, I don't wanna say like small, but it's a good size. You can get around it, Tony, on all around, it's plenty.
So does this also mean that the overall size is going to increase by 12 inches from the 111 inches
Yes.
width?
Okay.
So it'll be more...
And just to confirm, this is a non-illuminated sign, correct?
Okay, yes it is, but I'm gonna run power to it, to see if we have to put a light in front of it to just soften it up at night, you know what I mean? Tony, I don't...
Okay, so, the sign would be illuminated externally?
Exactly, if needed. I believe
Okay.
it's those street lights that we're installing, that are okay on the brick, it might run, I think it's almost in front of it, so it might not need it.
Okay, Don, when you mentioned the, building signs will be consistent, do you mean in color, in, the character of the letters, or what?
The color of the brick is gonna be consistent with the building brick, exactly.
No, I'm talking about the signage panel, which looks like maroon with a white lettering,
Yes, that's exactly what it's gonna look like.
and that's what the wall signs will look like also.
The wall signs per each,
The tenant signs.
yeah, I mean, again, I know we've had this discussion, and it's probably a good time to bring this up. I mean, yeah, I would like to do the background all maroon, but are you saying that when they come in, then you would like everyone to have the white lettering? I mean, that...
Well,
Again,
we want some consistency, Don.
Oh, I agree, but again, if somebody's, I'm the first one to say consistency. and each one should have light above, which has the, what do we call it, Kevin?
Gooseneck?
Gooseneck lighting, yep, yep.
Everybody should be matching downtown, so gooseneck over the top, maroon background, but again, if somebody wants in their lettering a certain color or a different color in the lettering, is that an issue?
Okay, but when you bring the first one in,
Right.
will you bring in an elevation of the entire front of the building so that the commission
Yes.
can see how everything is going to relate?
Yes, I will do that. Yes.
Okay.
Are there any commissioners present here in the auditorium that have any questions about this particular sign? Any commissioners participating remotely have any questions about this?
No, Chairwoman.
Okay. All right, seeing that there are no other questions, any staff questions, comments, concerns? Okay.
Looks nice, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty clean and simple.
Thank you.
All right, is there any commissioner that would like to make a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion to approve from Commissioner Amato. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Kelly. And on a roll call, Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Musso?
Aye.
Commissioner Parkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Ticky?
Aye.
Okay, and the chair votes aye. And who did I miss?
Me.
Elaine?
Elaine, I'm sorry, I'm going through this. Okay, Commissioner Amato?
Aye.
Aye. All right, there you go. So the motion is passed 6-0, and I'm sure you'll be working with staff for all the finalizing.
Yes, we will. Thank you, everybody.
Just make you aware, if you do end up wanting to put lights there, well, that has to come back.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Okay. Mr. O'Neill, were you able to contact?
Yeah, you should be either online now or attempting to call in.
Okay, and this particular person's name is,
N-A-I-M.
say it again?
Name, N-A-I-M.
Naeem?
Naeem.
Okay,
Yes, this is Naeem on the phone.
very good, you're here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so this is an application for a sign for 99 Bridgeport Avenue, T-lines, and the type of business that you have, sir?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The type of business that you have, this is at the Shell station?
Yes, the pictures that I sent is where the sign will go.
Right, so this is for recharge only?
I'm sorry?
Is this sign only the recharge sign?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this is a new business that is taking space in that particular, building?
For some reason, I cannot hear you right. I don't know if it's my connection or your connection.
Get a little closer. Is recharge a new business that's
No,
going?
it's not.
Okay.
No, it's the same business. It's just a logo for people to grab soda and water and stuff like that.
What?
Okay, so this is for the part inside the Shell station where the beverages are?
Yes,
coffee bar?
it's for the coffee and the convenience store overall. It's the actual
Okay.
convenience store.
All right, so this was not anything that we had assigned for before?
Nobody.
But, so, this is a marketing tool that you're trying to increase business by alerting people?
It's just something like a marketing thing.
Okay. All
So
right,
it's not a business. You're not identifying a business.
No, it's just some marketing logo. That's it. We're
Okay.
not saying it's not the name of the actual business.
It's a little bit misleading.
So you're just trying to promote what you have inside the convenience store as a place that you could get, buy beverages?
Yes, exactly. Like beverage, coffee, or anything.
Okay, you have a section, I know, to the left of the postal counter where there's like a coffee bar. You have the upright coolers to the right.
Yes.
And then you have something on the other side, the side door. So it encompassing all of that area that you have beverages that could be purchased.
Yes.
Okay, now, tell us about the recharge sign. Is that going to be illuminated somehow?
It has some LED inside, yes.
What part of it is going to be lit up?
The letters, yes.
Okay, how about the word yourself?
Yeah, just the letters.
I don't think we use self, it's lit up, but.
Right, but that's the word yourself, below.
I'm sorry?
Below the word recharge is the word yourself.
Yes,
Is self going to be illuminated?
yes,
Okay, so 2 lines are going to be illuminated.
yes.
Okay,
And they're all individual letter illumination, not a box?
Yes,
these are individual letters.
individual letters, yeah.
Okay. The only issue I have on this is that, to me, it seems to be out of proportion with the U.S. Postal Service sign, and I'd like to see it, resized to a smaller size overall.
Smaller size overall or smaller lettering?
Smaller lettering, sorry.
So it has to be smaller lettering, you're saying?
Well, in my opinion, I think it's out of proportion to what's there for the U.S. Postal Service on the, above the windows. And I'd like to see that in particular reduced. How do other commissioners feel? Commissioners Kelly and Mato, you're here in the, auditorium?
Yeah, the problem is we already purchased the sign.
Thanks.
I know, it's a mistake that we did. We purchased the sign and not thinking that, we would run into this kind of problem.
It's not a problem.
Did the commission previously approve the post office sign? And is that just a service that you're advertising, or is there a post office outlet there?
It's an actually post office outlet, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Panico, there's been a postal counter there for a good couple of years now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that particular sign that's over the middle window, the picture has been there for a while. This is for a new sign to go over to the right window. So, Commissioner Kelly?
Yes, an actual post office.
Right, yeah, we know.
I do have a question. If we're only approving one sign, why are the other 2 signs on the print?
If we're what?
Well,
You're showing 3 signs.
The applicant's applying for 3 signs.
he's applying.
The recharge yourself is for the convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
Postal service sign is for the postal counter, and the Shell logo is gonna be also.
So what's there now?
No, there's nothing on the wall there.
Oh,
Yeah, if you look on the last page.
all right.
Where the
Well,
monument
no,
sign
that's
is?
not what he said, though.
Okay.
So the last page is another photo of the post
Yeah,
office
I-
sign, or they can either put it on over that door, or there's another option to put it on the front of the building.
Yeah, it's the post office is only one sign.
Oh,
It was not.
okay.
Are all 3 signs made?
I'm sorry?
Are all the 3 signs made?
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I think it should go to the sign subcommittee.
Oh, thanks.
What's that?
Oh, thanks.
Might as well.
Madam Chair.
I think this needs to have a little bit more rehashing, the people on the sign committees, Commissioner, Mato, Parkins, and Wodomski. Welcome to my world.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner Parkins.
I'm not sure that this actually conforms with our sign regulations, and I'm just wondering if Mr. Rossetti had an opportunity to review those. Typically, we only allow signs for the name of the business, not what's going on inside, and it appears to me that Recharge Yourself is what's going on in terms of going inside, grabbing coffee. If it's the name of the business, that's one thing, but if it's not the name of the business, I don't believe our sign regulations allow advertising of what's being sold in store.
But it's not a specific thing. Like, it's not a one project. It's not a one product. It's like saying we are convenient.
Is it the name of your business?
No, it's not.
Well,
That's why I think it should go to the sign committee for a little bit of a discussion. So, anybody else,
Okay.
Participating remotely, Commissioner Tiki, Commissioner Usau?
This is Commissioner Ticky. I would agree. I think this needs a little bit more work and thinking through to make sure it conforms, and that if it does, that it satisfies the proportions that you talked about, Chairwoman. But I do agree about if it's not the store name, and if it's something that they do inside. We've tried to be consistent with signs across town in conforming to our regulations. So I'd be interested to see what the sign committee has to say about this.
Okay?
You mean the actual wording?
The whole application and the way this is being proposed on your diagram and the placement of it. So we have 3 of the commissioners that are on our sign subcommittee, and staff will get in touch with you to set up a meeting date. Are you local, sir?
Okay.
Is the applicant, are you a local resident? Are you in the area?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, so then you could come in and sit down with everyone. So is there a motion to table this to refer to the sign committee? Yes.
They haven't been installed, correct?
No, it has not been installed. Of course not.
Okay.
All right,
I have just one more question.
all right. Commissioner Kelly has another question.
Just one more question. Why do you need a shell sign when you have a shell sign out front?
Put the mic on your mouth.
The Shell?
Yeah,
It's a Shell gas station.
I know, but you show a sign, the third page down where you show the towered sign, it shows a shell symbol. So why do you need it on the building?
Because we are remodeling inside and we're trying to make outside look as nice as well. I have no idea. I can ask that question. I'm the contractor. I'm not the business owner.
Okay, so you're the contractor. All right, are there shell signs on the canopy that goes over the gas pump?
Yeah, there is.
Okay. You're working with Mr. Butler on this? Bruce Butler?
With what?
Mr. Butler is the owner of this particular property. You're working
Yes.
with him?
Yes, he knows about it, and he said as long as it's approved by the town, it's no problem for him.
Okay, well, Mr. Butler can be notified of the sign committee meeting as well. So, is there a motion to table this and refer to the sign subcommittee?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion from Commissioner Kelly to table this and refer to the sign committee, subcommittee. Is there a second?
Commissioner Parkins, second.
Okay, Commissioner Parkins has seconded it. And on a roll call, Commissioner Kelly?
Make a
No, this is voting on
Right,
tabling it
aye, yeah.
and referring to sign it. All right, so you're an aye. Commissioner Usel?
Aye.
Commissioner Motto? Aye. Commissioner Parkins?
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so staff will get in touch with our 3 subcommittee members and the applicant and Mr. Butler and set up a subcommittee. Then it will come back to the recommendations, and their comments will come back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for further action. Thank you, sir, for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is new business. First is application 20-12, Good Guys Development, LLC at Petromont Lane for a planned development district in an R3 zone on 2.1 acres for a 56-unit apartment building, 10% affordable housing units, and on-site parking First, is there a motion to accept this particular application?
Make motion.
Okay, there's a motion to accept, from Commissioner Amato. Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Usal. I'll second it.
Okay, Commissioner Usal has seconded, and, public hearing date right now, Mr. Rossetti, will be identified later on. Okay, we're not, locking in a specific, public hearing date right now. So let's vote on the motion to accept. Commissioner Usal,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So, staff will be in touch with the applicant about that. Mr. Bellis, Attorney Bellis, I see you're at the podium.
Yeah, just, if you wanted me to make a short make some comments, I can, otherwise I would
Now, I would prefer that you refrain from doing so and
do it at a public hearing,
do everything at the public hearing.
not a problem.
Okay? Are all your materials that are posted on the website, everything that we can expect? Is there
Yes, I
any?
gave it to Alex, so I assume that.
Yep. Okay, very good. Thank you for coming.
No, not a problem. And Alex, you'll give us the date for the notice?
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you. Next on the new business is, application 20-13, 153 Bridgeport Avenue LLC at 153 Bridgeport Avenue for a site plan approval in a ZB2 zone on .95 acres to allow for the commercial use of a nursery and necessary equipment. First of all, is there a motion to accept application 20-13? And again, no public hearing is necessary on this? Okay, so we don't have to worry about that.
This is a site plan approval.
This is just site plan approval according to Mr. Rossetti. So is there a motion to accept application 20-13?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion to accept from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Amato. Okay, and next we have, just a roll call, first of all, for the acceptance. Commissioner Usal.
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly.
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins.
Aye.
Commissioner Amato. Commissioner Ticky.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, so we have Attorney Thomas at the podium. Are there any comments that you'd like to share with us on this?
Attorney Donald Thomas, Owen Thomas, 350 Main Street, Cary, Connecticut, representing the applicant. We filed this application on behalf of the property owner and the tenant, which is tree planting. They intend to open a commercial zone. It's a CB2 zone. This is, for your identification, the property adjacent to the one you were just discussing on the sign. It is, like I said, it's a CBT zone. The commercial nursery is a permitted use by site plan in accordance with line 12 of Schedule A of your planning and zoning regulation. The property, as stated, is .95 acres or 41,485 square feet. And I am reading for the record from the site plan, from the statement of use, which is on the website. The property has frontage on Bridgeport Avenue and is obviously, as I said, located in the commercial zone. The proposal is for a site plan and for a site work related thereto for the commercial nurseries, outside storage of plants and equipment, and storage of landscaping material in three-sided bins as shown on the plans, which we will get to. 9 parking spaces are provided. I have computed your parking requirement in accordance with section 42. Commercial line 30 is 5 spaces plus 1 space for each additional 2,000 square feet of display area. The display area is 960 square feet of building plus 4,850 of exterior plant display, and I included the mulch display bins in that for a total of 5,800 square feet, requiring 3 additional spaces for a total of 8 spaces. And we have 9. All right, before I turn it over to James DeMayo, the engineer, I would like to point something out. We submitted all the application, we submitted the site plan packet, towards the end of last week. Mr. DeMayo and I had a conversation, and he suggested later on Friday, that it might be good, in making the presentation, if the commission had pictures of the adjacent rock cut on 99, Bridgeport Avenue. At which point, over the weekend, I, utilized Google Earth, Street View, created, 2 other photos, put the packet, together, along with the photo of the proposed building or the type of building they're going to propose, and turned it into a PowerPoint that saves it as a PDF and sent it Monday morning, and apparently it didn't make it on time to go onto the website. So Mr. DeMayo may refer to the rock cut next door, but obviously I'm making the assumption that none of the commission members have it at this point.
So Attorney Thomas, you don't have any paper copies right with you?
I was told not to bring
Okay.
copies.
I have one copy.
It's not on the website, so it's not available to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is a relatively short application, short presentation, but if the commission members feel it's necessary, I know you're having a meeting next week for a public hearing, but we could, if you felt it was necessary to see it, obviously you could continue it the next week, and then we can put on the website. I do want to, address one more thing. For the architectural, what we submitted, and you should have it on your website, is a photo of a building, and this is actually a building that at one point, I believe, Nancy Street Service had across the street at their other site. And what they're proposing is a similar building. So that is our submission of the architectural plans rather than having complete elevation drawn up. And obviously, we understand that this application does not include any signage, and signage would have to be at a later time by a separate application. So with that, I will set up my iPad to the site plan set that was submitted and call Mr. DeMayo, James DeMayo, up the engineer.
The reason is, no one else has access to it, so it's not fair.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James DeMayo. I'm a professional engineer at Giuliano Associates. We're located at 405 Main Street in Wallingford. So I'm just going to go through the plans pretty much sheet by sheet. So the existing property is an extremely sloped lot. There's significant outcroppings that are already there. There's some millings. There's kind of a little path that was previously done for the machines to get up there. But aside from that, it's undeveloped, not being utilized currently. So what we're proposing on sheet 2 of the submission packet, or sheet 1 of the PowerPoint plan, you can see that we're kind of coming into the property. We're showing the 9 parking spaces. We're showing the building. We're going to have 7 bins on site. The bins will house materials such as topsoil, mulch, sand, gravel, wood chips, firewood. There will also be a designated loading area for customers to come park their pickup trucks, things like that, to where it can then be loaded from the bins to the customer's vehicle. There will be a 6-foot-high chain link fence that pretty much goes around the perimeter of the rock cut on the upside slope for safety. This way, it's pretty much going to border the almost entire property. There will also be, as you can see, we're calling out a 24 by 40 building, which we will circle back to in terms of the style. But that's pretty much it. The building will meet all the regulations in terms of setback requirements, coverage, anything like that. So then we go to sheet 2 on the PowerPoint, which is the site development plan. As you can see, there's extensive grading that's going to need to take place. Due to the excessive slope of the existing site, what'll need to happen is there will need to be a flat pad created, which, if you're standing on Bridgeport Ave looking at the property, to the right, it'll be raised up, because Bridgeport Ave slopes up as you go, traveling south on Bridgeport Ave. So, it'll be elevated at elevation 112 to 110, and there'll be a nice flat plateau there. The slope will be graded at a 2-to-1 back down to Bridgeport Ave, which will then be planted with grass, with some nice trees and a mulch berm on the bottom. The rock cut itself varies in distance from the property lines. For instance, on the north, we are about 12 feet away. The western property line, the rear of the property, the closest point to the start of the rock cut will be 20 feet from the property line, and then we're about 15 feet from the property line on the south. There will be, in order to handle any water, so we're going to try to capture the water before it hits the slope, so there will be a swale constructed, a stone-lined swale with some check dams to slow the water down, because it's going to be pretty steep coming back down to the front of the property towards Bridgeport Ave. So we're going to capture the water before it hits the face. Then, at the base of the rock cut, there will also be another, lack of better description, a swale there, which will also act as a rock fall and catchment area, so just in case any debris does come falling down, it's not going to hit any cars or anything like that, which will also be protected by the bins, the storage bins. So they'll kind of be serving multiple purposes. That's pretty much that sheet. And then the next slide is slide 3, which is the sediment and erosion control plan. That just goes over the basic sediment and erosion controls, which for the most part will be silt fence and silt fence along the Bridgeport Ave property line and coming back up towards the rear of the property. There will be a staging area. So as this is constructed, there's going to need to be, the machine's going to need to be able to work up and create a plateau. So kind of like how there is an existing path for the machine, that's going to need to kind of happen. So it's going to have to build up and store materials, kind of pulling it from the back of the property to the front, then getting rid of it. So the material stockpile is shown in the front of the property because that's pretty much how it's going to have to be staged.
Mm-hmm. That's a temporary basis, I take it.
Temporary what?
It's temporary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's just for the construction. It's just the material stockpile. It's pretty standard in an S&E plan. You kind of need to show where material is going to be stored on the property, and that's what we're going to propose.
How is that going to be covered, or debris isn't flying out to the road or going out to the adjacent property owners' parking lot?
So that will need to be surrounded by silt fence. If it gets too high, there are requirements that will require hay bales as well. There is sheet, the S&E specifications, which is sheet file on the PowerPoint. That goes into a little bit more detail in terms of when you have to cover and things like that. This way, if let's say you have topsoil, for instance, it goes into detail on when you actually would have to either cover it or seed it, or things like that. This way, there's no erosion and it's not going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Sheet 4 on the PowerPoint.
Can I just ask before you go on, how long of a time frame do you think that would be?
In terms of?
For that particular area, calling it the retention?
So that area is going to be...
The stockpile area.
Yeah, the material stockpile area. That's going to be utilized throughout the entire construction.
Mm-hmm.
Because as material gets pulled from the back, it's going to end up in the front.
Yeah, I understand that, but how long of a time frame are we talking about for this site to be prepared?
Probably a year.
Really?
What's happening here?
Wait a minute, you can't talk.
Yeah, so approximate construction time will be about a year from when it begins.
Okay. All right, go ahead, sir.
Sorry, sheet 4 on the PowerPoint is a profile just to kind of give you an idea of how it's kind of going to look in terms of the rock cut and then the additional slope down to the road. Profile can be a little deceiving. However, the rock cut at most is going to be about 42 feet. So it is a pretty substantial rock cut, and then it will flatten out and then go back down to a 2-to-1 slope down to the existing sidewalk in Bridgeport Ave.
That's 42 feet in height.
That's 42 feet in height, yes, from the toe of the slope to the top of the rock cut, or bottom of the rock cut to the top of the rock cut, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the documents that are provided are pretty much some standard details. I did forget to mention one additional thing, which is that we will be on the swale that's along the bottom of the slope that will channel into a catch basin. Now, we don't have an increase in impervious area, so the only reason why we're doing this is just to help prevent additional water or ponding on site. So we're going to channel it to the catch basin through a couple underground galleys. So this way, it'll store it and hopefully infiltrate in, but it's not necessarily a requirement, but we're just trying to be proactive with any water that we encounter.
Okay. Is that about it? Any?
That's about it.
Okay. So any commissioners present in the auditorium have any questions on this particular application? Okay. Commissioner Motto?
I'm trying to picture this, I think it was, page 2, this concrete apron and water gate, as an elevation, what that would look.
Page 2 on the PowerPoint or page 2 of the? Okay.
Page 2.
Oh, okay, all right.
Site development plan.
Okay, site development plan.
On the bottom left.
Okay, so sorry, you're.
I'm trying to picture this, like, as if it were an elevation, this concrete apron and water gate.
So, okay, so the concrete apron, that is actually already existing. So basically what it is, it's a concrete driveway. So it's how to describe this? Basically, it's just a concrete start of the driveway, and it stops just into the property. So it's actually currently existing.
Okay, the circular, is this riprap?
Yes. So that hatching is meant for stone riprap. And what that does is it creates an anti-tracking pad. So let's say a dump truck has dirt or other debris on its tires, it has to run across the stone first, which will then help it fall off before it hits Bridgeport Ave, and then drag dirt up and down the street. So that's the intent of the anti-tracking pad, which is just stone. It's just large stone, that's all.
And is there a planting plan somewhere? Are there all these little circles, these are all individual trees?
Yes. So those will be individual trees and bushes there. Yes.
But do you have a list of what you're proposing for planting?
Exact material,
Because
No, I did not call out the specific varieties of the trees.
Okay. Mr. DeMayo, my concern, following along with Commissioner Matos probably, is the height of the trees.
Yep.
Because if you have something that shows an exposed tree trunk, what exactly are you screening? Something more like arborvitae or some low shrub?
Yeah, I believe that is the intent, is to put an evergreen, more like a bush. It's not going to be able to screen the property because of the height of the pad where the vehicles are and everything else. it would end up having to be, you know, a 20-plus foot tall tree in order to screen any of that. So that's not the intent. The intent is to, you know, small low-lying bushes to make it look nice and decorative.
Okay. So if you're standing in the road, looking at this, how high is that path going to be after it's put in place and developed?
10 to 12 feet, depending on where you're standing.
So 10 to 12 feet above the elevation of the road?
Yeah, of the road,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and it gets less as you travel south down Bridgeport Ave or towards the driveway.
Right, the front right corner is the one that's going to show,
Correct.
towards the Shell station is going to be the one that's,
Yes, ma'am.
showing the high, just like people going down Bridgeport Avenue and they're passing by Fountain Square, that particular front corner is the one that's most exposed.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Commissioner Amato, do you have any other?
It's 8% on that driveway, that's what.
Yes. Yep.
Commissioner Kelly, did you have any comments?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, any, questions from, any of the commissioners or Mr. Panico that are, participating remotely?
So far, Madam Chairman, I've only had the little drawings to look at, and trying to look at the necessary detail on that size is very, very difficult. I'm waiting on a full-size drawing to be provided for me, so I would have more specific comments. But I do have some questions, some of which the commissioners have already brought up. Specifics relative to the planting and landscaping plan is one of them. I would like to see some details on what these material storage bins are going to be. What are they going to be made of? Why are they so big? 27 feet high, 27 foot wide is a very, very large storage bin. Not normally what I would have expected to see. I don't know where the dumpster is located on site. They make reference to it, but I don't see it. I don't see where the outdoor plant storage areas are on site. They're not indicated. I would ask if the Department of Transportation has been contacted with respect to the drainage conditions coming off that site. So there's a variety of things that I think need a lot more detail in order to be able to totally understand what they're proposing to do.
Very good, Mr. Panico, is quite detailed in that, I appreciate that.
And the other thing I would comment on is the applicant is applying onto a use line in the regulation that kind of envisions a traditional nursery. What we have here is the storage bin for the sale of those materials is dominating the site. And I question whether the parking ratio that has been used will be adequate, but I need to look at it a little more carefully and try to analyze it more when I see some more detail.
Very good, good point. Anything else, Mr. Panico?
No, that just kind of touches some of the concerns I have. As soon as I get the full-size drawings, I'll do a better review and get some contacts back, some comments back. And I think we would also appreciate a report from the city engineer.
Absolutely.
I have some concerns about the paving stopping at the back of the sidewalk, and then beyond that, it's an unpaved site, especially when you're working with an 8% grade going up that driveway. But I would defer to the city engineer for his comments.
Very good.
And I guess I would ask, somewhere along the way, and I missed it when I was looking at the small drawings, but there was mention made somewhere about a berm along the common property line with the gas station. Can somebody explain that to me a little bit? A proposed 4-foot berm 5 feet off the property line. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of that? What does it do?
So the purpose of that is, it's another sediment and erosion control measure. So we're trying to minimize any impact or adverse effects that we have on the adjoining property owners. So,
okay.
yeah, so that berm is meant to help catch and slow down that water and erosion.
Okay.
Before I go on to any other, comments from, commissioners or Mr. Panico that are participating remotely, one of my concerns is the orientation of the bins. Was it looked at to have, instead of it being open to the street, them being switched around so that the loading is from the rock wall sign?
So,
No, not yet.
So, yeah, so it was briefly looked at. The reason why it got kind of pushed away was because one, it's gonna reduce the amount of bin storage that's available, because now we're taking out a whole section. Two, I was trying to utilize the bins, to help prevent any rock falls. And so even when you cut and blast, there's always a possibility for, water to get in there and pop a section of rock for it to come down. So I was trying to utilize the bins as another preventative measure so that it didn't come rolling down.
Yeah, we're definitely aware of that with other facilities on Bridgeport Avenue and River Road, so I understand that. Is there any reason why the area closest to Bridgeport Avenue, between Bridgeport Avenue and the parking spaces, that wasn't utilized more?
So the only way that we would end up being able to utilize it is to put in a retaining wall to help flatten it out so we can park. And that's something that's just not feasible at this time. So we're just sloping it out and planting it with grass and trees.
Okay. All right, are there any commissioners participating remotely that have any comments?
Yes, Madam Chair, Commissioner Parkins.
Go ahead, Commissioner Parkins.
My concerns really echo Mr. Panico's, the material of the storage bins, why they need to be so large and how they're going to be kept in a neat fashion, if you will. Are they concrete Jersey blocks? We had a situation not too far from that site with some storage of this kind of material, and it became quite distasteful. So I would just echo Panico's concerns.
Yeah,
One addition.
Bridgeport Avenue or Town Road, something like that.
I'm sorry?
I think you were talking about the facility that was on Town Road to the left of the tire company?
Correct.
All right, and Mr. Panico?
Yes, one other thing I forgot to mention. I noticed that they have some kind of a detail for stormwater detention and recharge. This is hard rock, I believe. How are we going to recharge anything? All it's going to do, I guess, is just function as detention?
Yeah.
Is that the intent?
Well, the intent is we wanted to channel any surface water that gets created on this flat pad into a location. Now, so what we opted to do was to create a swale at the base of the rock cut and channel it into a catch basin. Now, from there, we run into the problem of where we're going to run it into or tie it into anything in order to
Well, does everything go into that, into those galleys?
No.
It's very difficult for me to read what's on the drawing.
Yeah, so what you gotta remember too is what's currently there. So what's currently there is a steep rock slope with a lot of rock outcroppings, sloped directly towards Bridgeport Ave. So all that water is currently running towards Bridgeport Ave and the sidewalk. When we're done, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be channeling some of that water into the catch basin, and hopefully trying to recharge. So when we create this pad, we're gonna have to excavate extra rock out and pretty much put dirt back in order to make this feasible. So
you're going to make a swimming pool and then you're going to fill it in. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, but not exactly like a swimming pool. But we're just gonna create a flatter, rock bed, if you will, you know, a few feet below finished grade. So there will be material for it to, infiltrate in. The intention is not to reduce flows or anything like that. We don't
Okay.
trip requirements for that. What we are tripping, or what we are just trying to do is prevent an issue of, you know, material being bottled up on this new pad that we are creating.
Okay, on the north end of the site, on the north, I guess the northwest corner, you have that half of the site, you have an intercepting ditch at the top of the cut, and you bring it around the right side to where that berm is that you've indicated. And then what happens to the drainage? You expect it to just spread out, is that it?
Yes, sir.
And sheet flow down across the sidewalk?
Yes, which is what it's currently doing now, yep.
Well, no, but right now you sheet flow across the whole frontage of the site. You're not concentrating it in one location.
The amount of area.
I think the whole drainage has to be re-examined very carefully.
The only comment that I have back to that is, it's not capturing a large area of water. We're talking a very small swath of land upgrading of the cut. So it's not capturing and channeling water from the whole northern section of the property. It's only like a 20-foot section that comes around.
Okay, I can appreciate that. But you know, if you have any flow at all there, what's going to happen in the winter months when you get melt during the day of snow or whatever, and it drains reasonably across the driveway, and then it freezes up at night and you got a driveway covered with ice. I mean, I'm sorry, a sidewalk covered with ice. I'm just, you know, I've got concerns. But I'm going to obviously defer more to the city engineer because that's his bailiwick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Panico. Commissioners, Tiki or Yusel, do you have any comments?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Is this the same site we've looked at a couple of times for like a storage?
Yes, this is a site that had been previously proposed for a storage building, self-storage building. Okay, anyone else on the commission, staff, any comments? Mr. Rossetti?
It seems like it might be beneficial for staff to work with the applicants and Mr. Panico to arrange a tech session to go over any drainage issues or outstanding issues that the commission comes up with during this meeting. And hopefully by then we'll have some comments back from the city engineer. And then, of course, we'll pass those along to the applicants so we can discuss those. And Alex, just one additional thing for you. I do have a full set of plans for you. Yeah, we'll send those down to Mr. Panico. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you want a second set of the full site to go down to Mr. Panico and one for you, or do you want,
One for us, one for Mr. Panico. We can share the one with us to, with Linus, although if there's a third, that would be helpful.
okay, so you'll take care of getting them to Mr. Panico?
Correct.
And then the rest I can do it, okay. And I think we'll address, all the rest of the comments. The advantage here is you don't have to take notes, I can watch you on TV, take down the notes when I see that. I will, just to address one question, the reason for the approximate 1 year to do construction is a multitude of things. The first of which is obviously in any project, COVID-19, and, you know, direct delays. Second of all, on the site in this location, the construction and the rock cuts of the site work has to be done safely. Can't be done as quickly as you could in other sites, where, you're out in the open. You do it, you've got to do it a little more carefully. And, we're in New England, so even though I promised some of my clients a building winter and delivered, last winter, I can't promise it again this winter, so. Those are the reasons why, plus the fact we don't know when you're gonna approve it, which But it's a myriad of issues. People like to be conservative. It would be wonderful to say we could do it in a few months, but in a site in this location, you can make that promise. But we can address that more also whenever this is continued. So to conclude, then, 3 full-size sets to be delivered to planning and zoning. And if Mr. DeMeo is going to deliver them directly, should he procedurally, because I know town hall is closed, should he call to make an appointment to deliver?
That'd be great, yeah.
Okay.
We'll take the 2 now.
Okay, Terry, I have one, do you have one?
Oh, yeah, one now. That's okay, well, yeah.
Okay, one now, he'll deliver, the other 2 he'll call and make the appointment.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your attention. Oh, and by the way, I assume that next time the PowerPoint with the photos of the existing rock cut will be up on the,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll take one note, just thinking for the chairman's comments about having the bins stored in a certain direction. Just from my own high school experience with driving landscaping trucks, rotating these bins around will make it extremely difficult for those flatbed and low-body dump trucks to pull in and back up. This is a much simpler site than having to go around. I mean, that would be an extremely tight parking space on that backside.
Yeah, I was thinking of, the aesthetics for sure. I was also wondering, seeing that, as I brought out before, the bottom right corner where it's sloping, according to Mr. DeMeo, that being underutilized, if the parking could have been done perpendicular to Bridgeport Avenue along the left side of the property line on the southern side, and, utilizing that.
Well, I think you certainly don't want to take it down to street view, building a retaining wall. It's difficult, but you also have to look at what is adjacent to commercial lanes. It's adjacent to a gas station, which has a pavement right up to the street. So it's, we'll try to do the best we can. I think a slope with aesthetic plantings might take some of it off, but again, it is a commercial zone.
Yes, I understand.
Any chance we could get an elevation drawing of the whole?
That is what,
So that you're looking at it to what it looks like from, Bridgeport Avenue. I'll check with, Mr. DeMeo and the client on that.
and there are no plans, because it's just unpractical, from what I would imagine, but just to confirm, there aren't any, plans to have a gate in front of each bin.
We're going to address that issue, that since it was raised, we will address it at the next meeting, as to what the bins are, going to be like in it.
Okay,
Okay?
very good.
Dominic, I have a question. Could you also indicate, the amount of, fill material to be removed from the site? I didn't see it on the plan.
Second, calling back Mr. DeMeo.
Yes, sir, there is a cut fill analysis done on the site development plan, just underneath the compass. It's gonna net around 14,000 cubic yards of cut.
Is that 14,000 the total amount of movement, or is that the removal?
That's gonna be the removal.
Okay.
I have one last question. Well, there are people asking. So the majority of it is going to be done by hammer. If everything works out perfectly, it'll all be done by hammer. However, if we hit material that is too hard and dense for the hammer, then some blasting will have to be done. So it's more of like a supplemental if needed. Okay, because that would have to be referred to the fire marshal's office. Yep.
Okay, unless there's any other further comments, attorney comments?
It would also probably, and that's why it's slower than if it was, it would probably involve line drilling, so it would involve slower blasting. This is because of the location.
All right, if there aren't any further comments, from the commissioners or Mr. Panico, is there a motion to table application 20-13?
Tabling it or just continuing the public hearing?
Well, continuing it, tabling it, is there a
It's not a
It's not a public
hearing.
hearing.
No,
Okay.
no,
It's not acting on it, it's a site plan application, so
right,
whether you call it tabling, you gotta notify us whenever the next time
exactly,
it's gonna be on.
yeah. I think for the record, we have to indicate something. So, is there a motion to table?
Make a motion to table.
Okay, there's a motion from Commissioner Moto to table, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kelly. A quick roll call, Commissioner Usel,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Moto, Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly, and the chair votes aye. Thank you very much. All right, the next item on the agenda is our public portion. Is there anyone in the auditorium that would wish to address the commission on any item not on the agenda? All right, sir, step up to the podium, please, and state your name and your address.
Good morning. My name is Mike Pavia. My address is 400 Beaver Dam Road in Stratford, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm before the commission today to represent the association, as we've become aware of the potential development of the Langanke North property with a 10-bay gas station. So, it's only been a week or so since we caught up to the idea.
Madam Chairman, that's a public hearing item that's still open.
I'll jump in. Mr. Pavia, we've opened the public hearing on this particular application. We have left it open. So I would recommend that you get in touch with, Mr. Rossetti. He has your name and address here, but, give Mr. Rossetti your, phone number and your email. He will be in touch with you, to let you know when the public hearing will be
Next week.
continued, next week, next Wednesday. So we're gonna have to ask you to come back because we can't hear, even though it's not on today's agenda, it is a public hearing that's been left open, and that's the technical
That's fair.
location.
Some other bookkeeping, so is there a file that we can go to, maybe Mr. Rossetti could, when I contact him by email, so we get all the documents, the application?
It's also online.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll direct me to that,
Yep.
okay. And did I hear the hearing is going to be next week?
That's correct.
That's correct, okay. At what date, what time?
Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
Next Wednesday at 10
Mhm.
o'clock.
Mhm.
Okay, so between now and then, I'll need to gather.
Mhm.
And will we be able to get to speak at that meeting?
Yes, you will. Yeah, we have updated our guidelines and that we specifically made sure, because of everything that's going on, that we would keep public hearing open, and those that, were in the auditorium for the beginning of the public hearing could speak then, but when we resume the public hearing, anyone else could speak, or
Okay.
submit things.
Okay, so would
To
we,
be read
if we
to the
wanted
record.
to submit something,
Sure.
we should do it prior to the next public
You-
hearing?
Yeah, you could do that with Mr. Rossetti.
I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Pavia.
That was good, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Picano? Are you?
Mr. Pagano was representing the association as well. He had a letter he wanted to submit, and I think our understanding
Yes.
is now
Submitted
we
to
have
Mr.
to
Rossetti.
submit it prior to next week.
Yeah, and that we will read into the record.
Okay, all good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, at least 24 hours ahead, so we can get it into the
Thanks, Ted, yeah.
Yep. All right, is there anyone else in the auditorium that would like to address the commission on any item not on the agenda? Anyone in the auditorium wishing to address the commission on any item not on the agenda? Final call, is there anyone in the auditorium that would like to address the commission on any item not on the agenda? Seeing that there is no one that has indicated they would like to address the commission, is there a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
There's a motion to close the public portion from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Moto. Roll call, Commissioner Usel.
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins.
Aye.
Commissioner Moto.
Aye.
Commissioner Ticky.
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Next item on the agenda is other business. And first of all, comments from the chair of subcommittee. I have no comments at this time, other to thank everyone on the commission for continuing to participate in our meetings that we've been having for the last 6 weeks, and also what we will continue for the rest of June as being on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. Next is Commissioner Romano. Anything from the zoning subcommittee, other than you know that the sign committee will be meeting?
No.
Okay, nothing from Commissioner Romano. Commissioner Kelly?
All right, so,
Use your mic.
not at
Use
this
your mic.
time.
Okay, nothing at this time. So the downtown subcommittee that will be meeting is not yet set.
Right.
Okay? All right, other business agenda, staff comments. So, Mr. Rossetti, are you presenting the yearly report, or?
That will be, done by Josh.
Okay.
To work on this. I will make one quick comment, and I'm sure Mr. Dickey will ask me about. If anyone watching would like to submit comments to the Planning and Zoning Office, please send them to our administrative assistant. Her name is Alexandria Castro. Her email is alpha.charlie.Tango Roger Oscar@cityofshelton.org. Again, her name is Alexandria Castro. Please submit your comments as soon as you can, at the absolute latest, 24 hours in advance, so they can be published online, preferably 1 week before is ideal. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Josh, who's worked on our past year's yearly report.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Neill.
Okay, so I'll briefly go through this yearly report that we put together. So 2019 was a pretty eventful year for the commission and staff. There are 26 applications that were submitted throughout the year, and at this time, 23 of those have been approved by the commission. 401 certificates of zoning compliance, ex-sheds, new houses, additions, business occupancies, et cetera. Most of that was dealt by staff in the office. Signs and some other particular certificates went in front of the commission. There were 65 official complaints filed last year.
Such as?
There's a whole list. I have a whole list if you want to.
Are they part of this packet?
The list of complaints, no. I have a spreadsheet that we keep updated for complaints.
But that's okay, because on page 6, if people flip through, you do have them categorized.
Right, I tried to
Yeah.
split them up. I didn't want to get too specific with the
No, that's,
complaints and addresses and things
no,
like that.
no, that's fine. This is exactly what I had in mind.
Yeah, so if I flip to that page. So most of the complaints, I didn't really know what word to call it. I categorized them as miscellaneous neighborhood complaints. I probably could have worded that a little better. But there's, a wide variety of issues.
So, would it be something like, you have unregistered
Fences
vehicles?
put up the wrong way, or, the neighbor has digging or putting a new pipe in, and they're trying to figure out if the water is gonna affect their property, things like that.
Okay, very good.
Student applications, certificates of compliance, I included a table and a bar graph. I'm not sure if it's, how easy the bar graph is to read. I tried to make it as legible as possible. That goes by month, and the frequency of applications, so typically the summer months were the busiest in terms of certificates of compliance. And the most frequent type of application was a business occupancy, required under construction, just with the statement of use. And then on the last section, which covers the new fee schedules that the commission approved just a month ago, I used the data from the 2019 year for all of the certificates of compliance and applied them to the new fee schedule prices just to show the difference in permit fees that would be collected if we had that fee schedule acting last year. If there's any questions on that or anything else in the report, I'd be happy to answer them.
what's been the kind of feedback, having with the new fee schedule in place?
It's been good overall. We just, completed in, June 1st, so we've only had a couple so far, that we've had to apply the new fee schedule, but I think it's much fairer going by square footage instead of just a flat rate for a lot of things, especially the larger developments or larger houses.
Can I just ask one thing about the complaints that you talked about on page 6? Do you find out that the majority of the complaints are such that because of a lack of knowledge on the part of the person that's making the complaint, that they find out, okay, this is something that is permitted, it's just that they weren't aware that there are regulations in place that permit it?
Right. So most of the time, people have no idea zoning regulations are in place, for various things. They don't know really who to go to, so they bounce around City Hall until they end up planning and zoning, and, you know, usually we can help most people with issues on private property, especially when it comes to construction. You know, permitting, things like that. But yeah, we try to not include in any of these are all the phone calls we get at the office, you know, people just asking general questions about permits and, you know, their neighbor's activity, or, you know, can I do this if I split my lot? Things like that.
So you're not tracking phone calls? And such that you keep a record a lot?
Not at this time. I believe is Alex starting to track phone calls and people that are coming in. We had a sign-in sheet, but tracking phone calls would get a little complicated, especially with multiple people calling at the same time.
Yeah, I can imagine it's pretty busy. So, okay, anything, on the conclusion you want to bring out?
So I just went a little bit into 2020, so far now there's 13 applications that have been submitted, not 11. The certificates of zoning compliance and regular office procedures have been a little altered, as you know, due to COVID-19. But we've seen an uptick in activity for certificates of compliance, handling things remotely through email or mail, getting things to people if we only have appointments for one person at a time from the public in the office. It's been a little more of a challenge so far this year. And hopefully, by the end of this calendar year, we'll have a new computer system in the office that will allow us to do more permitting online, and just filing and organization in the office, just to make everyone on the same page and not have to go through all this paperwork. So hopefully that'll be in place and make the office and, by extension, the commission, more efficient, I guess.
So streamlining.
Correct, that's the word.
Okay. How the outdoor dining regulations have been in place now for 2-3 weeks. How's that working?
It's good. We've been in constant contact with restaurants around the city. Ken, do you have a number of how many we have so far?
We have all but 2 that have outdoor patios, and we're in the process of tracking those down. We did visit both of those persons, and they're supposed to be getting their application in. But if it's not, then our last choice would be to notify the Valley Health District, which would be our protocol. I can say that the 17th of July, you should have read about it, but the dining rooms will be open. So that regulation for the outside patio still remains in effect until it's relieved by the governor.
Yeah, that's not at 100% capacity. I think it's 50%.
It's both 50% of their indoor seating, excluding the bar area.
But overall, the proprietors of all of our restaurants have they had any specific complaints with some of the portions of the restaurant?
They've been very cooperative with it. We've gone around and visited some, put on some pounds doing that. I did notice in other towns that, in fact, they weren't kept up to the standards that were required, so our owners have been following that.
All right, that's good. Any final thoughts, Mr. Neal?
No, if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them either now or in the future.
Any,
I have some comments since we did that under 19. We did, start a computer-based, systems, thanks to Josh and Alex. So that if anybody wants to come in and look at it, we now track all of the complaints from the time they come in, to their conclusion or carryover. Included in that is photographs, and reports that can be attributed to that complaint. So, the statistics, that Josh has put together, you know, are backed up by that spreadsheet, and the type of data that we keep now. Each complaint is issued a complaint number now, and, we have a, case folder, that's kept. So, compliment Josh and Alex, they did a great job implementing this.
All right, is there, Commissioners Kelly Amato, you're here now, term, any, comments on the, report?
No, thanks for a good job.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Commissioners Tiki, Usel, or Parkins, how about yourself, or Mr. Panico?
Nope.
No
None at
questions.
this time. Not at this time.
Very good. Okay, well, unless, somebody else has any questions, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda is the, approval of minutes for April 23rd. The only thing that I have on the last page, for the approval of the minutes for February 11th and 26th, there was an abstention by Commissioner Wodomski, and that's going to be reflected. It is reflected in the vote count, but not in the two sentences that say the motion passed 5-0. I think the abstention's got to be noted, so it's a 5-0-1 kind of vote. So is there a motion to approve the minutes for April 23rd with the correction to the listing of the count for the motion for the minutes that were are on page 4?
Make a motion.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the minutes from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a second from Commissioner Amato. Does anybody have any other comments on these particular minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote on the approval of the minutes. That was, motion to approve from Commissioner Kelly, second from Commissioner Amato. Commissioner Usel?
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins?
I will abstain. I was not present. I was not on the commission.
That's fine, thank you. And Commissioner Amato?
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion to adjourn from Commissioner Amato, seconded by Commissioner Kelly. Roll call, Commissioner Parkins?
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki?
Aye.
Commissioner Usel?
Aye.
Commissioner Amato?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and the meeting is adjourned as of 11:29 a.m. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Huh? No, well,
What's the matter?
I'll be right back.
Way ahead, but I'm not gonna be here July 22nd.
Oh, okay, let me put it on my calendar.
We'll be here before we know it.
Oh, I know. Okay, let's see. Calendar.